OnlyFans. OnlyFans is trying to get to a point where they are a publicly traded company. And in order to do that, they're trying to get rid of the idea that they are the place for sex workers. And it seems like during the pandemic, sex work, particularly things with like OnlyFans and like camming, became a lot more popular than they've ever been before. And I wonder, one, is there a bubble to this? Two, what is the line for sex work? Meaning, like, what qualifies or can be labeled sex work? Is it anything that can be like that pleasure can come from? Well, that's kind of a large span. There are non-sexual things that people.
There's ASMR. You know, people get off on that kind of.
There's an exchange. There's an exchange.
Okay.
At least at a basic level.
Go on.
Between at least two parties.
Okay. Go on.
Well,
Sounds
I mean,
like a
usually of a
lawyer.
sexual nature, whether it's like some kind of cam shit, or whether somebody's present, or whether it's company, or whether it's anything that's beyond that in terms of physical or like mental, like, you know, any of that kind of thing.
Jake, can you look this up?
Yeah.
I believe it was like a senator or something. When asked to define pornography, they said, I don't know the definition, but I know what it is when I see it. I know it when I see it. Can you read that first paragraph?
Oh, yes. So the phrase, I know it when I see it, is a colloquial expression by which a speaker attempts to categorize an observable fact or event, although category is subjective or lacks clearly defined parameters. The phrase was used in 1964 by United States Supreme Court Justice Potter Stewart, who described his threshold test for obscenity in Jacobellis versus Ohio, and explaining why the material in the issue is not obscene in the Ross test. Okay, well, his quote is, I shall not today attempt further to define the kinds of material I understand to be embraced within the shorthand description hardcore pornography. Perhaps I can never succeed in intelligibly doing so. But I know it when I see it, in motion pictures involved in this case is not that.
So, with that being said, what is sex work?
And
That's what
I think
it
it
is.
just depends.
No, that's
But I
what
think
it
what
is.
you got, but where they put criminalization on it, but like their
Stigmas,
line is kind of is
connotations,
very
bullshit. Yeah,
it's
these
very
fucking,
bullshit.
Like,
So I guess it just
bruh.
depends on what we're.
If nothing is hurting another human being, cool. Two, I had to put on my relatives of this because some of my like homegirls are hookers. And once you get into the nitty gritty of how organized it is and how like they're pushing safety and like awareness and everything, you see that they're really about their shit. They're about their money. These girls, like,
But even still, is that what sex work is? Is sex
that's
work
what they make
simply
it. They make it like
intercourse?
that. The girls that are really doing it,
okay.
that's what they're really doing it, or something that
This
is.
is no. This is my point,
It's
though.
there's literally a range. I think that it's any. I mean, I think that there's some that are sort of like. There's a point between legality and what's not legal, but I think it's anywhere between like something that's like light modeling, to having like in magazines like Playboy, into things that are light prostitution or like I think there's a whole
So
like,
things
array.
that people
But-
get sexual gratification from.
Yes, there's an exchange of money.
They're
So
Typically,
So-
or like your views
Hey.
make money. I suppose.
consider this.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a kink for everything, right?
I think there should be women involved in this.
Cake
conversation.
farts.
probably should.
Well, that's working under the assumption that there are not men who are sex workers.
Okay.
Point.
So cake
I'm saying we should-
farts.
oh, there.
In the early days of the internet, cake farts was a thing. It was literally someone who was like, you know what, I like cake farts, and then she fart on a cake.
We talked about this in the last episode, I think.
Somebody
After it.
somewhere was like really into cake farts. There's fart porn.
Dog.
That's literally like
All right, so
people watching people
there's a
fart.
kink, money, and sex.
There are people that get off to watching girls eat.
Word up. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So what are you saying?
So
Doesn't
There's-
matter.
There's money and there's something that.
I'm just farting. I'm just eating a burger.
Oh, so does that category? Yeah. I see what
How
you're saying.
does that qualify as sex work? Just because somebody else is jerking off to it.
The
is. That makes
fetishizing,
it-
fetishizing
Yeah.
for money.
So
it's a
couldn't
fetish.
anything be sex work?
Well, I think those people who are selling feet pics and cake farts are intentionally know that their
That's a
audience is
fetish.
jacking
Yeah,
off.
that's
Maybe
sex work.
Specifically erotic. Or
But
I
think
consider
with,
that
with
sex
them
work.
knowing
If you're
that
getting
with the
paid for
intention
it-
that it's gonna be.
What is a
paid for
hand
it?
model?
If you're getting paid
What
for
is
it,
a hand model?
that's
I mean, some people.
I don't know.
Too, I guess. No.
Yeah,
Well,
very well so. Yeah,
So the
yeah.
same
I
way,
mean, say-
the same way
you can't
there are
say
hand
hand
thing.
models, are there not
was
foot
like-
models?
But did it jerk off? I mean, okay, I'm sorry. Okay.
I
If
think
there are
being a-
hand models,
I
are
think
there
it
foot
constitutes.
models?
I think it
Bring up a good
constitutes.
point, but I think there's a difference between a professional foot model and somebody selling pics.
What is a
Yeah,
professional
that
model?
too.
Isn't a model
But-
somebody who gets paid for pictures?
Yeah, it's an interesting.
I don't know.
I'm gonna say one thing. I've had girlfriends that don't want anything to do with it anymore. That they've gone as far as they could. I have girlfriends that do see it as self gratification, like you said. And thirdly, I have girlfriends that just see it as getting money. I don't know, but like those things that you named, I would consider in a way sex work. Because it just
Is
if
stripping
somebody's
sex work?
sick sexual gratification, but not in a literal
What do
sense,
you
like you
think?
said.
Jesse?
Actually,
It's like all these things.
Yes.
if there's like, no matter what you're doing, I think if like you know that it's for someone to be sexually aroused to, and that's kind of like the point or something, maybe that's sex work, you know. But like if
Yeah,
you're
for
in a
money.
restaurant eating a hamburger and someone's like in the corner and they don't have permission, but they're getting off to it, it's like the person eating the hamburger is not like doing sex work, they're just eating a hamburger. But the person who's making it sexual is the person who's experiencing sexual thoughts, so that's their own thing, you know. So like,
Yeah.
but if you're willing to participate with someone knowing that they're going to have those feelings, that's when it becomes like sex work, because it's like a team effort between both of you of like, okay, we're both in this together.
Do you know what
You know?
mukbangs are?
Do I know what?
Mukbangs?
No.
Can you look up a mukbang?
Yeah, it sounds dirtier than it is.
Yeah.
It's just people eating mass amounts of food.
MUKBANG, I think is how you spell it. But it's
What?
literally just people eating a bunch of food.
Whoa.
It's a internet
Sounds
phenomenon. No, because actually, I know a little bit about it, and it started off in Korea as an interesting thing, because like with like the 21st century and like the
great
technological age, people were kind of getting
Never thought about it. Like
further apart. So they created this thing to eat online together, so you can like
Yeah,
eat with somebody.
So that they weren't alone because
Yeah,
they,
so they
they
weren't
were
alone.
used to
It's kind of
being
a
in
cute
families
idea, you know?
and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until it came to America where they started just like eating as much amount of food as you can.
Holy
Hey,
shit.
some of the girls Johns that I've met, like all they wanted them to do was just sit and eat with them. Like just hey, let's keep ordering food. Let's keep.
Some
ordering
people
food,
get
type
prostitutes
shit.
for company.
That exactly like just eat with me. I'll
What
buy all the
about
food.
what about a dominatrix? They
There you
don't
go.
usually even have sex with the people.
There you go.
But I think a dominatrix would be considered
Yeah, I
a
guess
sex
it's
worker.
just
Right?
that
Yes.
Right, but they're not having sex with the person.
It is arousal
They're
though.
just abusing them
It's an
because
arousal.
the person is into being abused.
So just gets
You know.
off on them stopping on their nut sacks. It's a real thing. Terrible.
That's interesting.
It's
So
hey.
things like mukbangs you can find on YouTube. Is
There you
it
go.
sex work?
I mean,
I don't know if it fucking matters in the end.
It does
I
matter.
think that's a good point. I mean,
And the
sex
reason
work is
why
I
it
just
matters,
don't like-
the reason why it matters is because OnlyFans is
Sure.
attempting to distance themselves from being the sex worker company in order to be publicly traded.
As what?
hey. Also,
As what type of company? Is what some company?
a wholesome
question.
family company.
Also, yeah, like I don't even know
People
into
just
what
want
though.
fans.
I don't even know into what.
Yeah. Tinder tried to do the same thing. Like the whole thing about Tinder is it's location based sex, right? And they tried to make it as like a They like tried to go against like what a lot of their fan base like. used it.
The community hookers that I know, they're pissed about the whole OnlyFans shit.
Why?
Like celebrities getting into it, like they're taking away from like their.
You know what
fucking,
they're
like-
not doing on camera?
What?
Fucking.
I don't know about that.
I'm saying most of them aren't.
Oh, wait, are you talking about
so, like,
celebrities or
right?
Oh yeah,
So, like,
okay, yeah.
what
Then
I'm
you're right.
It's a
saying
different
is-
market. It's a different market. But in the end, whenever you go publicly traded, your goal is to always get profit. So regardless of what it is,
Yeah.
it's going to be profit centric. So it's going to be selling sex in the guise of just making some money, and they're not really going to give a shit about them. Just as Robinhood just went public, and they were already basically the free place to trade, but yet they were just trading all that data of mostly people that didn't want fees, which were people with lower income, and figure out how to fucking
Exploit them.
take their data to exploit them. So I just think in the end, the goal is going to be for profit. It's going to be the guise of it'll still be some type of fetish work, whether it's sex or whatever you want to talk about. And I don't really give a fuck if it is or not. I don't really think I care if somebody has sex or pays for it or not. I mean, whether it's your thing or it isn't, you know, legislative morality is bullshit. So fuck that.
What is
That's
the
where I
law
put
on
it.
sex working in the United States? Like in Vegas, prostitution's legal in Vegas, isn't it? Or at least escorting.
I think it is legal in Vegas, but not all of Nevada. Can you look that up?
It's like New Orleans, but not Louisiana with alcohol. I guess
Go on.
you can in New Orleans you can drink alcohol and
Like outside,
anywhere. Just like you can get. It's crazy.
but
the
it's
first
not
time
that
you
way
do it-
in all of Louisiana.
No.
Oh, I got you. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I will say this. I think that the rules on prostitution in the U.S. are like intercourse. But that's weird to me because porn is legal.
You can beat the
So
shit out
if
of somebody,
take
but you
your
can't. You can't.
encounters, is it legal or do you need like proper permits?
Yeah, if you got a box,
To
you gotta.
shoot
You gotta. You know what I mean? You gotta do all kinds of.
So here's the moral of the story. Everybody might be a sex worker, low key. So we shouldn't look down on sex workers.
Yeah, sex worker rights, man.
I think that prostitutes should be able to get health insurance at work. And not have to deal with like if
Yeah.
it were legal, we probably would have less human trafficking.